This week we're on fundamental number 16, which means we are halfway through our fundamentals. Hard to believe. But this week's fundamental is embrace, change, and growth. What got us here is not the same as what will get us to the next level. Get outside your comfort zone rather than stubbornly hanging on to old ways of doing things. Be excited about the possibilities that change and growth can bring, and be flexible. Listen, we all are well aware that change is part of our everyday life. Some changes are big, some are small, some are self-imposed, some are totally unwanted. But we all experience change. Everything from a death or birth in our family to learning how a new cell phone works. We might get a new boss, learn a new software system at work, or implement changes to our work processes. And people have differing appetites for change. On one side, there are people that actively resist change. You know, those that shoot down every good idea that comes along and are still using a flip phone. And on the other side, there are people that actively seek change. They can't wait for the latest and greatest. You know, those people who will be first in line when the flying car comes out or a trip to Mars. The amount of change we experience every day, though, in our world is actually increasing. And the pace of industry and technology improvements is more rapid than we've ever experienced before and is actually predicted to continue accelerating. As a company, if you aren't changing, you aren't growing. And if you aren't growing, you are dying. Yet, as individuals, it's human nature. We are all creatures of habit. We find comfort in consistency and in things and people that are familiar to us. Change creates fear of the unknown and uncertainty, which are destabilizing. Change brings a learning curve. It brings a fear of starting over and uncertainty of the outcomes. There's even a scientific behavioral model called the Kubler-Ross model, change curve, which has worldwide acceptance in explaining human behavior when changes are introduced. Our fundamental calls us to embrace change. We don't have to be a first adopter, but embracing change is a much more proactive action, much more positive than resisting it. At LPL, we use the ADKAR methodology to help drive adoption of change across the organization. Look it up if you aren't familiar with it. What it says in a nutshell is that you will embrace change more readily if you are aware and understand the benefits of the change. It always helps to understand the why a change is being made and the benefits that will be realized once adopted. We tend to resist changes when we can't see the benefits or if we focus too much on the negatives of change. No one would go through a year-long trust system conversion unless we felt the benefits of a new technology system were worth the efforts and the inconvenience. We are willing to go through the short-term pain of change if we feel like the long-term benefits outweigh it. As I mentioned previously, this week's fundamental is strongly tied to last week's fundamental, number 15, be relentless about improvement. Successful companies have a relentless focus on improvement. And naturally, with improvement comes change and the need to embrace that change as an entire team.